Welcome to WOGE'S Folk Tales, the channel for original and premium African tales and folklores with moral lessons. Subscribe for premium content.
In the heart of a lush, green village nestled at the foot of the Nenze Hills, there lived a young woman named Amara. With skin like the rich earth of her homeland and eyes that sparkled like the morning sun, she was the picture of beauty. But it wasn't her looks that made her stand out, it was her heart. Amara was known across the village not for her charm, but for her kindness, her willingness to share what little she had, and the love she poured into every dish she cooked. Every evening, after the day's work in the fields or with her market stall, Amara would gather the freshest ingredients, yams, plantains, beans, and leafy greens, and prepare hearty meals for the village's most vulnerable, the elderly, the orphans, and those who had nothing left to offer. Her kitchen, humble but filled with the aroma of rich, earthy stews and savory dishes, became a haven for those in need. She would carry her meals to their doorsteps, or sometimes, when they couldn't make it, she would invite them into her home, a warm refuge in a cold world. One fateful evening, a group of emissaries from a distant city arrived in the village. They had been on a mission to find those whose work brought real, tangible change. When they arrived in Amara's village, they were stunned by the generosity that echoed through the simple huts and palm-thatched roofs. It was said that no matter the time of day, Amara was seen carrying bowls of food from one house to the next. It was a rare sight in the village, such unselfish devotion to the well-being of others. The emissaries, intrigued by her selflessness, made their way to her home. Amara welcomed them warmly, offering them a meal as she had done for countless others. They sat with her, listening intently as she spoke of her desire to help her community rise above the hardships of life. She didn't ask for money. She only spoke of the possibilities that could exist if the young people in her village had the opportunity to learn skills that would provide them with independence. "We can't always rely on the soil and the rains," she said softly, stirring a pot of soup. "If they learn to create, to build, then they won't just survive. They will thrive." Her words struck a chord with the emissaries. They had traveled across Africa, seen countless struggles, but they had never encountered a woman so resolute in her vision for the future of her village. Impressed, they decided to help her fulfill that dream. After a few days of deliberation and raising funds from generous donors in the city, the emissaries returned to Amara with a sum that made her eyes widen in disbelief. Thousands of dollars. Enough to change the future of the village. "Use this to teach," they said. "Teach the young ones, teach the women, and teach them all that they need to be independent, to stand on their own." With that generous gift, Amara wasted no time. She used the money to establish a skill acquisition center in the village. She brought in teachers and artisans from nearby towns to teach skills like sewing, carpentry, metalwork, baking, and even basic computer skills. Slowly, the young men and women of the village, once content with subsistence farming, began to master these crafts. The older women, who had once stayed at home tending to children and households, now learned how to create products that could be sold, like baskets, jewelry, and textiles. The village began to flourish as each person took pride in their work, earning income and developing a sense of purpose. Amara didn't stop there. With the growing success of the skill center, she founded a women's empowerment scheme that focused on providing microloans to women who wanted to start small businesses. Whether it was a small shop, a hairdressing salon, or a local farm stand, Amara made sure that every woman in her village had the chance to contribute to the economy in a meaningful way. The ripple effect was astounding. Within a year, the village saw a dramatic reduction in poverty, and more families were able to send their children to school. The transformation was so profound that it attracted tourists. The once quiet village, known only for its rich history and scenic hills, became a center for cultural tourism. Visitors from around the world came to witness the beautiful artistry of the villagers, whether it was the finely crafted woodwork, the colorful textiles, or the mouth-watering dishes that Amara continued to cook for the community. Local guides took tourists on hikes up the Nenze Hills, sharing the village's story of renewal and hope. Amara's village became a symbol of what a single act of kindness could do when combined with vision and hard work. In the years that followed, the village was no longer just a place on a map. It was a thriving, prosperous community. Amara's once humble act of sharing food had sparked a movement that changed the course of the village's history. Her story became one of inspiration, not just in her village, but far beyond. She had shown that even in the face of hardship, kindness could create lasting change. And as the years passed, Amara's heart remained as big as ever, always cooking for others, always giving, always sharing, knowing that the more you give, the more you receive. And so, the village prospered, not just through skills and businesses, but through the unity of a people who had learned that in helping each other, they could build a future that would endure for generations to come.